G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists in Australia do what they do. Well, hi viewers and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we're down in Victoria at a beautiful town called Healesville and I'm with a very talented lady, Lynette Orzlowski. How are you, darling? Great to be here. Now, Lynette is an multi-award-winning artist. She's won over 100 awards, which is amazing. And also a multi-disciplined artist as well. Lynette is disciplined with pastels, with oils, with acrylics, and today, which is really cool because we haven't had this on before, she's also an airbrush artist, and she's going to take us through a whole bunch of things with airbrushing today, which is fascinating. And when you see the quality of her work, you'll perfectly understand what I'm talking about. I mean, she uses a number of different ideas to put into her work, loves animals, and you've really been working on horses for a long time. So tell me how the airbrushing and the horses actually came about. How does that fit together for you?
Well, I've been airbrushing for about 16, 17 years now.
Okay.
And the horses were something that I had in my younger life. Used to ride horses, used to have horses, and now it's sort of transferred into my daughter riding horses, and she events. So I get to go out there with camera and take a lot of shots, and literally the airbrush is a tool that I've used for quite a few years, and now I'm just putting it into practice on the canvas.
That's fantastic. I mean, obviously there's a lot of studs in the area.
There are, yeah, there are, and they're all diversified as well. So, you know, you've got race horses, you've got Friesians, you've got quarter horses, you've got thoroughbreds, you've got, you know, your pony clubbers, all that sort of stuff. So lots of different horses. The
differing with the airbrush is that you can get a lot done, but it's still, as easy as it looks, there's a lot that's involved in actually building it. And it's layers of airbrushing that you have to build up.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little similar to normal painting, but the fact is that it pretty well dries as soon as it hits the canvas, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, so all right, we're going to go through this. This is really interesting stuff. I mean, I used to do this as a young man myself and I find it quite fascinating. But come on the journey, we're going to do some backgrounds initially, which is similar to this one here. And then Lynette is actually going to start to work on this particular piece right here as well, and it's going to be fantastic. So come on for the ride. Okay, Lynette, now you've got the blank canvas up there. Now, one thing that you did say to me just before we started was you used the best canvas.
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
It is from Art Spectrum, and it is the Classen's Belgium linen stretch canvas.
Can't get any better, can you?
It's beautiful.
It's fantastic stuff. Yeah. So what you're going to do is using the golden acrylics.
Yes.
And you're going to do, I don't know how you do what you're doing, of course, but you're going to do that effect, the background effect for us?
Yep, absolutely.
How do we start?
What I do with my paintings is I have like a real wash effect. So this one I'm doing a little bit different to what I'm going to demonstrate later, but this is the same sort of style. So it's sort of going to be a little bit old worldy, sort of have a little bit of stenciling in it and stuff like that. So we'll go through that.
Excellent.
So I'm just going to start with some raw umber from Golden. Now there is a medium that you can put into it, and I do use a liquid glazing medium, but only a little bit, because it doesn't really need it actually.
I love the fact that your table is your palette.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh look, I've had palettes before that are just been a board. With acrylics, because of the way they dry, you can't just scrape them off.
Yep.
So just using a little bit of water.
Yep.
Now I did have the background painted, but I needed that dry so I can show you what I do in the second layer.
Okay. Was it gesso you painted the background with?
No. It's actually golden raw umber with titanium white.
Okay.
So it's the same sort of tonal that I've got with the raw umber,
Yep.
but just really lightened off. These Belgian linens are actually primed in acrylic. You can get them in oil as well if you want to do oils.
Yep.
But this is acrylic primed.
Yes, if you're going to do great work, you might as well have the best.
Yeah, exactly.
You're very much involved in the arts in the area. I mean, to the extent that some of the memberships that you actually have are with Illustrators Australia, Wildlife Art Society of Australasia, the Australian Guild of Realist Artists, Illustrators Australia, the Yarra Ranges Photographic Society, Institute of Equine Artists Association. Do you find that being a member of all those institutes helps you with your connections?
It does, absolutely, and I really, really enjoy when I actually get time to go to the meetings and, you know, join their exhibitions and stuff like that. I do find with a busy life of painting and everything like that, it's very hard to get around to them all, but I enjoy being with them all. They give you a little bit of information all the time, so it's great.
So this is a really loose mixture that you've got here. It's mostly water and then just sort of, obviously got a big brush there as well, letting the paint sort of do its own thing.
Yeah, sometimes it needs extra layers, extra colours. There could be drying time in between until you get the desired effect.
Yeah. And so you've got a spray bottle there?
I have a spray bottle just with water.
Yeah.
I can actually use a spray bottle with metho in it if I wanted to break up that paint. It doesn't damage the paint, it just separates it from the canvas.
Yep.
So this one, I want it to be a little bit more Baroque style, sort of old world, sort of something that you see on an old building.
Yeah, and that's just golden acrylic white?
Golden acrylic, titanium white.
Titanium white, okay.
Absolutely. So I'm not actually watering this one down as much, so I'm getting a little bit more of a stronger effect. But then if I don't like it, then I can come back over with my squirt bottle and water it up again.
Okay.
So I'm just going to squirt a bit more water, just to make it run, just to break it up a little bit more. So that's it.
Great looking background.
I need to let that dry.
Absolutely.
Once I've done the background and I've marked out my image, I then block in with white. So I'm just using the golden high flow acrylics, and it's specially formulated for, you know, pen and ink, airbrush, anything like that. So it's nice and thin. So yeah, I use a mixture of that, which I'm going to strain.
And that's actually a strainer?
That's actually an automotive strainer, yeah. So it's a real fine strainer. So any impurities or any, you know, extra sort of, you know, lumps of pigment that are in the paint will actually be strained out. The reason why I do this is because the airbrush that I'm using, which is a HPC Iwata airbrush, that's a 0.38 needle. I don't change needles, I use the same needle. And so I need it to be actually quite fine to go through.
And what are you putting in there now?
Okay, so what I'm adding is a little bit of airbrush transparent extender.
Yep.
I just find that it helps with the flow, because what happens is acrylics have a tendency to tip dry, and I just find with that little bit of airbrush extender, it's not going to tip dry as much.
Okay, and you sort of get beading on the end of that, the little needle.
More than beading, it's actually just dry paint.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start. So just working off my reference here.
Do you normally wear a mask at all, or?
With automotive, absolutely.
Yep.
And I normally do in the studio, but because we're filming, it would look really silly for me to talk to you with a mask on. So as you can see, I can come in and do some really nice sharp lines, and then the rest of it I can sort of just bring the airbrush back off the canvas, and it just hazes in.
The viewers mightn't understand that the reason you keep spraying that on your hand is to check for moisture.
It's not just that, Graham, it is.
Yeah.
And with moisture, it will actually affect your painting, and you won't be able to paint because it'll spurt out water onto your painting. Especially using acrylics and water-based, it doesn't work. But no, it's actually to clean the tip. Because what happens is when you shut down your airbrush, a little bit of paint sits on your needle, and a lot of people that have started airbrushing will find that when they start their airbrush up on their page, they'll get splats of paint.
Okay.
And at least this eliminates it. So what I'm doing is I'm cleaning that needle first, making sure there's no paint and it's ready to go.
And you can see the effects that you can get, and it's pretty well drying as soon as it hits the canvas.
Yeah. There's a little bit that you can rub off, but because, yeah, it's been blown by the air, it dries fairly quickly.
Now, these type of products, I mean, if anybody wanted to get these, particularly in this area, they'd be best off going down to Bayswater to the art shop.
Absolutely. Go and see Nick, Justin.
Yep. See the guys down there, because they've got a full range of all of these products. Sort of a one-stop shop for people in the Bayswater area.
Yeah, and look, you know, there's lots of people that come from many different, you know, areas. They do an online ordering system, so even if you're in the other states, they'll post out to you.
I mean, your horses are just amazing. There's one piece called Violet Rhapsody, and you're using these backgrounds. I mean, the thing that I love about a lot of your work is that there's these wonderful negative spaces, and you've just got the animal sort of, you know, looming out of these various spots on the canvas. The majority of your work, I mean, you sell out before the damn things even get to the gallery, which is fantastic for you, and I can see why just by watching your work. But if people want commission work from you, they can just get in touch with you at your website, which is orzlowski.com.au. And yeah, if you want paintings of your horses done, I suggest you come in and say hello to her.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to create here is muscle tone. So, yeah, you're seeing the white highlights. Now, sometimes things will knock itself out with contrast, but with the other colours, I'll bring contrast back in.
Okay.
So it can look a little bit flat sometimes, but that's simply just a layer that I just haven't done yet.
But the amazing part about this is you're creating all of this with one colour at the moment.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people have said to me that I should leave it like a ghost figure, but I say the animal's not dead, so I won't do that yet.
Yeah. So how long does one of those little pots normally last for? I mean, it seems to be extended pretty well.
Yeah, well, this one here, I'm only halfway done, so I would be able to do the whole horse.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So you don't use a lot of paint, and that's why there's not a lot of overspray. As you can tell, it's not really, you know, we're not in clouds of smoke or anything like that of, you know, atomised paint. So what I'm going to do, because it's going to take about, you know, another hour or so to do the white background, and because I want to show you guys how I actually create this, I'm going to change colours.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
I'm just going to pop this up there. Because he's a chestnut, I'm picking these lighter sort of colours. So just testing the airbrush.
Yep.
And just colouring in like a colouring book, in a way.
Oh, and the tonal values are still popping through from the back.
Because they're almost transparent. They've still got a little bit of opaque to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really picking up that those background colours. So the places that I haven't airbrushed and left the background colour is going to come right through. And always do reflected light into white.
And the beauty about the golden paint, all the colours are there. You actually don't have to mix the colours. They've got such a huge range.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not overly extensive in the high flow, but definitely in the heavy body that I did the background with.
Yep.
Yeah, there is an extensive range of colours in that.
The Anesta Awada, the cost of these guys, is it expensive to have an airbrush?
Something around this sort of calibre is around the 370.
Okay.
But you can actually have an entry level one that's just going to be just as nice, about 110.
And then obviously just your compressor and your lines and...
Yeah, and look, you can get a compressor anywhere. You can actually buy the little smart compressors.
Yep.
That are silent, and they can go into anybody's sort of flat and unit. Now I'm going to choose burnt sienna this time.
Right.
So once again, I actually haven't had the transparent, the airbrush extender in these, because I haven't felt the need to, because I'm not having to detail a lot, I'm just colouring.
Okay.
So this is not, it's not critical. So as you can see, this is going to really orange him up.
Yeah, sure does, doesn't it?
But I love this beautiful, you know, sienna colour against this, you know, the cobalt turquoise here.
And I must admit you have a fantastic studio and a gallery, but we're in Melbourne and we've got a tin roof and we've got 4 seasons in one day in Melbourne.
Yeah, you can hear the rain.
Yeah.
So I'm just leaving that muzzle area because it's not orange really. So it has more softer greys.
Yeah.
Has little reflections, like just under the nostril here, we'll have a reflection of this colour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and not just cover the whole lot. So now I'm just going to come in with some darker browns. And all those shadows that I had before, I'm actually just enhancing with a bit more depth of colour.
Okay.
And this is where I'll start to bring in some detail of the eye as well. And you get these beautiful soft shading in the eye.
It's a matter of perfecting that finger movement back and forth.
Yeah.
Very slight, isn't it?
It is, and you know, when it comes to real sharp detail, you've got to be really precise.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of practice. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just going over my darks again, just reinforcing that colour.
You just get to the stage where you're refining, and
yeah, absolutely.
more and more.
Yep, so, and this one, I can't see a lot of these veins. I've got a few in there, but yeah, just trying to refine the veins in the painting as well. So
you'd say airbrush is your favourite medium?
Yeah, it is actually. I really enjoy the fact that you can get this realism from it, and it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot harder to get the blending effects via brush than what it is to do with the airbrush.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I just find that, yeah, the technique that is used to get these finished pieces that I really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're painting that with oils or acrylics, you wouldn't be anywhere near you are now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. So just coming in with a little bit more detail here. Now I've really coloured up where the pupil's going to go, so just need to dry it off, so I'm just blowing cold air onto it, or the compressed air. So I've just picked up the white airbrush, not to say that it is a white airbrush, it's silver, but I've actually picked up my second airbrush that I had the white in previously, and I'm just going to start on the muzzle.
A lot of artists do use stencils, but you're that proficient at doing this that you do it mostly freehand, which is you know, it looks easy, but it's really not easy to do.
No, you're right. It's a lot of practice. So I'm over highlighting just so I can get that white back in, and then obviously we'll knock that back with another set of colours.
I was going to say, with your commission pieces, you go right out, I mean, you prefer to take your own photos. You'll go to the property where the horses actually are and then look at the animal and learn to understand it and take your photos to get the best results.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoy doing that. One, I get to meet the animal or the animals, and I get to see their personality, their traits, what best light suits them as well. So yeah, I really do enjoy coming out to people's properties and actually, you know, taking these shots, interacting with both the client and the animal.
And I just wanted to bring up a piece that you've done called A Moment in Time of your beautiful daughter, the darlingest person in your life.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Plus the fact that your daughter does dressage as well means that you're involved with horses a great deal. You understand them.
Well, she does not only dressage, but she does all 3 disciplines. Dressage, show jumping and the cross country. So she does a lot of horse trials and eventing. So I'm out there in the field and then come back into the studio and start painting them as references.
Okay, well, I can see there you've just picked up a palette and a brush. You're just getting those really super fine lines and then highlighting everything with the brush. Now, in saying that as well, a lot of the work that you do, and you do pastels and you do oils and you do acrylics, you do combine your airbrushing with your painting style as well.
Yeah, and some of the pieces I actually do. I'm just not solely an airbrush artist, even though I do use the tool a lot. With my commissions, they're not solely based on the airbrush. I do actually do pastels, you know, watercolours, acrylics. Even though I do really enjoy the airbrush and I love painting with it, depends on the subject. I don't have to use it all the time. So at the moment, with this, I'm actually using the high flow paint, using the brush with the high flow paint. I just find that it's already pre-thinned. You don't have to worry about watering it down or using a medium or anything like that. I do have the heavy body titanium there if I do need to use it and want it a little bit thicker. but I'm just finding that with this fine rigger brush, it's just working perfectly with it. So basically what I'm doing is I've got that out of focus airbrushing on the main, and then what I'm doing is I'm bringing up that the depth of field, so with the detail, which with everything with these pieces, it's all about getting in your layers with your highlights and then knocking it back down with your dark tones. Okay, now that I've actually done the brush work that I'm happy with, I'm just going to come in with my white airbrush and just finish off a little bit more highlighting. So now I'm just doing short strokes just to create the direction of the hairs going. These are really, really short dagger strokes, we call them in the airbrush world.
You do like 2 workshops a year, and they're generally pretty booked out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, if somebody wants to come along, they can obviously go to Lynette's site and then talk to her about it, but I would have to emphasise that she does book out extremely quickly, so if you wanted to be part of it, you'd have to get in early. Yeah.
You've got to be careful at this stage now that you don't put your hand over your wet area, because I've gone in really heavy, so this time it is actually really wet. So I'm just waiting for it to dry.
Well, you've obviously there's a lot still to do, but with the beauty of television, as you can see, we're just putting up the final piece now of this magnificent painting that Lynette did for us today. As you can see, it's just really quite extraordinary. Beautiful piece of work. Okay, viewers, fantastic day. Wow, horses. Look at this piece here. This is just amazing, isn't it? I mean, this is the talent that this woman has. This is a painting. It's incredible, it really is. Now, if you would like to commission Lynette to do some work for you, your website is?
Orzlowski.com.au.
Yeah, I mean, and also for Lynette's workshops as well. They book out really quickly, so my suggestion is if you want to do or learn how to do this, you get in touch with Lynette like ASAP. There's some people that you'd like to thank as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to thank Anesta Water, Golden Paints, theartshop.com.au, Art Stretchers, which is Art Spectrum, who supplied the beautiful Belgium linen, Mural Bark picture framing, and also Mugshot Hair.
That's fantastic. I mean, and it's people like that and organisations that are getting behind artists like Lynette that enable them to be part of this show, and it obviously helps them out as well. I mean, we have a huge audience these days, literally right across the world. So, you know, if you're artists out there and you want to be part of what we're doing, go and talk to some people. I mean, I think it's essential to do that. We're all in this together, and you've just proved that by getting those other people on board. Yep. If you'd like to see some more of Lynette's work, you can come to colourinayourlife.com.au, our Facebook page, and our YouTube site in as well. Go in and subscribe also. We're off. We've had a fantastic time again in Victoria, and beautiful Hillsville. It's been great down here. And you, fantastic woman. Till we meet again, guys, remember, as always, make sure you put some colour in your life. See you guys. Bye now.